Let's talk about some of the essentials that an executive really should know about the wine regions of Argentina. When we say essentials, what are some of the things, among others, that an executive really should know? Firstly, it's the grapes of a given region. Yeah, that's important. Secondly, the flavors and the aromas that one can expect in a glass of wine from that region. Third, how do I pair that wine with food? Or how do I pair food with that wine? And then fourthly, what are the bottles from that region that are iconic? The bottles that I should know on a menu, or the bottles that I should be cognizant of as someone orders that bottle and places it down in front of me. Now, for Argentina in particular, let's talk about some of the essentials that are very specific to Argentina. Here, I think one thing that's important to know about Argentina is that it has its roots in Bordeaux. Argentina has found a home, or has built a home for the Malbec grape. And it flourishes in Argentina, it does terrifically well. The Malbec grape originates from the Bordeaux region in France. In Bordeaux, there are 5 grapes that they use to make the big red wines of Bordeaux, one of which is Malbec. Now, it used to be in particular that an area south of Bordeaux called Cahors made what they called the black wines of Cahors. There was a time when phylloxera, a parasite, devastated a lot of the vines in France. You saw Malbec decline in importance within the region, and then later it started to rise up in importance in Argentina. So today it's extremely important, and some of its finest versions are from Argentina. And then thirdly, for Argentina, in terms of the essentials, I would know the white grape Torrontés. Torrontés is another grape that's really specific to Argentina. Not widely known, but it's interesting and it's specific to Argentina. It's interesting to see grapes that form an identity with an area, and this is one. So Mendoza, geographically, it's about in the center of Argentina, and it's right next to the Andes Mountains. The truth is, this strikes quite a scene. When you go there and you see the vineyards in the front, in the foreground, and the mountains in the background, it's really very beautiful. And they get a lot of the runoff from the mountains that they use to then irrigate the vineyards. It works very well. Very dry climate, but a lot of water from the Andes Mountains and very scenic. I mentioned that the reds are really Malbec driven. Yeah, this is where Malbec has now found a home and is flourishing. And for the whites, think Torrontés, a grape that's less known but very interesting. So starting with Malbec, what can you expect from a Malbec? The first thing I think you would be struck by would be the color. And in fact, this is one of the things that Malbec, as a blending grape in Bordeaux, it's one of the 5 Bordeaux grapes, as I mentioned, it's one of the things it brings to the blend. It's a really dark purple color. So when you look at Malbec in the glass, you'll be struck by that dark color. On the nose, you'll pick up plum, blackberry, possibly raisin. In nice Malbec, chocolate, or perhaps earthiness is also a characteristic. Possibly black pepper. Remember, the first thing I would note, if you see that really dark color coming out, that might give you a hint at what you have as a Malbec, and you should expect that. In pairing that wine with food, here you might want to think about Argentina's culinary history. And with most places, often their wine history and their culinary history go hand in hand. In Argentina, they have a lot of beef, and they have a lot of meat, a lot of grilled meat, very, very popular and very good quality beef. So here, Malbec is a natural pairing with that food. So you see steak, sausage, lamb, also braised meats, something that's pretty big and robust to stand up to a wine that's pretty robust. Now, Malbec's tannin structure is a little bit like Merlot. It's not quite as heavy as Cabernet or strong as Cabernet. It's a little more like Merlot, but it's got the color of a really deep wine. Now, again, in the food pairing, so think meats, grilled meats, rich sauces, garlic, big spices. Malbec could easily stand up to these flavors. In terms of the bottles to know, here Nicolas Catena is one of the forefathers or the fathers of Argentina wine. In fact, his winery is built like a Mayan temple. It's very interesting to visit. All of the vineyards in Argentina, if you go there as a visitor to the Mendoza region, the wine region in Argentina, many of them are quite striking. So Catena is one. They make some very fine Malbec and fine other wines as well. Another that I would look for, and that also is a pleasure to visit, is Salentine. If you visit Salentine, it's built somewhat like a Dracula's lair, or it has that feel to it. Very dark, almost medieval seeming. Very nice to visit and very nice wines. Now, the white grape that I mentioned is Torrontés. And Torrontés in the glass, here think floral, aromatic. Some people have likened Torrontés to another grape in France called Viognier. And Viognier is also known for being very aromatic, and that's quite a compliment to pay to the Torrontés grape. Because Viognier can make some very fine wines. So here think, you may get peach, lychee in terms of the nose, jasmine, but think perfume and floral and aromatic. So what would you pair that with? Well, you can pair that with white meat, grilled chicken. This would go well with seafood. It would also go well with spicy food. So Thai or Vietnamese food, exotically spiced food. These are also things that Torrontés would be very at home with. Torrontés is grown very well in the Salta region. So here you'll see it throughout, but the Salta region in particular is where you'll see a lot of this, or it's home within Argentina as a home. So if you're ordering this, you might want to look for Salta region when ordering Torrontés. So the Argentina-specific essentials we talked about. Bordeaux roots. So here you have an important grape with big history, but now makes up a much smaller proportion of the Bordeaux wines, has made its way to Argentina, and now it's flourishing. And that grape is Malbec. They also have a very interesting white that's sometimes likened to an aromatic and high-quality grape from France as well, the Viognier grape. But Torrontés is specific to Argentina, so if you'd like to taste Argentina in the glass, or more of an identity grape character, I would look for Torrontés.